Hey everybody, this is Beth with Talking Wellness with Wellness 360 and Jay Verna from the Webster Rec Center. We are going to be talking today with someone I'm a little biased to because she is my business partner and she is the expert in everything Parkinson's. I am in all of her all the time. I learned so much from her, and she has created an absolute outstanding program for the Webster and really all areas. I mean, she reaches from Greece to Webster to Brighton to all of those places outside of Ontario that I don't know very well. So, so let's say hello to Jay for just a second. Hey, Jay.
Hey, how you doing? Happy New Year, everybody. Our first episode of the new year. I'm excited.
Yes, so we've been excited to get back, and what a way to start the new year. We're excited to have you, Lindsay. So, Lindsay Perez, physical therapist. Yes, we are going to ask you just to tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, and who
Absolutely. I'm very happy to be here today talking about Parkinson's. It is something I am very passionate about. I have been a physical therapist for the last 20-something years, mostly in outpatient settings where, you know, people come to me. I've done a little bit of home care as well. I've really focused my practice on Parkinson's over the last 5 years, though. I went to school at Boston University, stayed in Boston for another 8 years, just long enough to become a huge Boston sports fan. And now I'm back in Rochester and working on this Parkinson's program with Beth as my business partner.
Awesome. Yeah. So Lindsay and I came together. We both worked for Genesee Valley Physical Therapy for a long time. And I love teaching classes. She already had the program going. And we thought, why in the world are we both trying to create all these programs when we're both doing the same thing? Let's bring it together, hence Wellness 360. So now we have generalized wellness for your diagnosis, group fitness classes for your diagnosis. So it's really a lot of fun. It's kind of acute care, but to long-term. So we really focus a lot on that long-term care. So Jay, you have anything to ask her about that, or?
Well, actually, I was just curious, what motivated you to focus on Parkinson's disease as a physical therapist?
That is a great question. It was definitely not a focus coming out of college. When I graduated all those many years ago, kind of the treatment philosophy was for Parkinson's was keep people functional, keep them safe at home, but that was about it. Research for Parkinson's has exploded over the last, especially decade. And we're really finding that intensive exercise can not only help people with their daily life, but actually help improve the symptoms of Parkinson's. And this kind of treatment philosophy just fits my treatment philosophy in general, where movement is medicine, exercise is medicine, keeping active is medicine, and that philosophy fits right into working with people with Parkinson's. It's a very active approach to treatment. My clients leave sweating, they leave with their heart rates up, they leave feeling like they've accomplished something. So it's really satisfying. I think people really get something out of the treatment, and it's become my passion. I don't really want to do anything else.
Well, to kind of piggyback on that, Lindsay, when most people think of exercise, especially the type of exercise you do a lot of boxing type things with your Parkinson's students. A lot of people think, like we were just saying, getting the heart rate up, working on cardiovascular fitness. But maybe could you speak a little bit to some of the cognitive improvements that we see with those particular types of exercise?
Yes, definitely. We're finding that higher intensive exercise, or exercise that challenges you, something that your body isn't used to doing every day, something where you feel a little uncoordinated and you have to work at it to find your coordination. Those kinds of challenges on your body actually help with neuroplasticity. They actually help create new connections in the brain. So with mild cognitive impairment that we see a lot in Parkinson's. There's even some research with Alzheimer's and more progressive forms of dementia. But working your body, pushing your body hard actually has a positive effect on the brain and your cognition as well. So it's super important. It's really important for everybody, not just Parkinson's, to try something new and to challenge yourself, whether that's physically with getting your heart rate up with the intensity or just doing something that's out of your comfort zone. Those kinds of things are important for all of us.
Absolutely. I could not say more about it. And I love the one thing about Wellness 360 is we're hitting a lot of the pillars of the wellness wheel. So you're not just getting the exercise, you're getting the social time, you're getting the cognitive aspect, you're getting, that a positive environment of healthy living. You're getting the physical aspect of the exercise and the sweating and the endurance training and the balance training and all that kind of stuff. And then we also incorporate a lot of the mindfulness component where we have mindfulness classes, we do some meditation, we do chair yoga or regular yoga. So we're really trying to hit all the aspects of someone working towards their balance in wellness, which I know, Jay, that you'll find a lot of respect in because you do a lot of the same there at the Webster Rec Center.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. We really want people to have a long-term solution. Physical therapy is wonderful, but it's meant to be a short-term solution. People have an acute problem. We help them out with that acute problem, but there needs to be something continual after physical therapy. And our program, or my program and Beth's program, is meant to be long-term. We have clients that have been coming for 4 or 5 years, and we keep them going. The social aspect is important. We laugh a lot in class. Class is always different. So it's meant to be a long-term plan.
It's meant to build a supportive community, because even like today in our class, having the wives bringing the husbands or being there to support, or the husbands being there to support their wives while they're in to classes doing their group fitness with us, and we're laughing and having a great time and giving them a sense of independence and doing a lot of fun in class. And then the wives and the husbands are able to kind of sit and hang out and talk and really be a support team to each other too. So I really love how many aspects and angles that these programs have. And not just like of course, today we're talking about Parkinson's, but we have so many other, like the bone growth and osteoporosis and the bariatric surgery for the MOVE program. And these are all physical therapy driven diagnoses, but just like Lindsay said, it's long-term. These are not things that you just jump on. And I just recently wrote an article and it said, people that we aspire to be more like in the fitness world are not making fitness New Year's resolutions, because fitness is a part of their day-to-day life. It's not like I have this goal that I want to X, Y, Z. They may have goals within their fitness, but they're living it as if they're brushing their teeth. I know my husband, I can say, he works out as religiously as he takes a shower or brushes his teeth. And that's kind of what we're trying to implement into the world of Parkinson's, is it becomes part of their life. It becomes part of their day-to-day routines. So I know you just said a little bit, but Lindsay, what is the difference between physical therapy and group fitness classes? Like, how would you know which one you're going to?
Well, that's a great question. And I really recommend, and actually our program requires it, that everybody come in for an initial evaluation first. So no matter what, I meet with my clients one-on-one. We spend about an hour going through some basic tests, seeing how they move, and then I can really give someone a recommendation. And reasons I might put somebody into one-on-one therapy instead of sending them to a group environment, they may have some really specific difficulties with things at home, like getting up from the dinner table or rolling in bed or getting up and down a flight of stairs easily may be really tough. So I would keep somebody for physical therapy and work with them on specific functional goals. Balance may be an issue. If I see a lot of balance impairment, we may want to work on that one-on-one first. Pain is another issue. A lot of people don't realize that pain is very common in Parkinson's. A lot of times in the back, in the legs, in the shoulders. Pain can really limit what you're able to do. So I would keep somebody for one-on-one physical therapy to help them out of a painful episode. Then the group exercise is meant to be your long-term plan. I can do this. This is my motivation to keep going with exercise forever. So that's the biggest difference between physical therapy and group exercise. A lot of times the exercises are similar, but we have a little bit different focus, like a laser beam focus when someone comes in for individual therapy.
And I've seen a lot that they bounce back and forth. They're in one-on-one and going to the classes at the same time. So it's certainly not out of the question to you don't have to leave your community to do one-on-one. You can balance both.
I recommend that, actually. I like to see people 6 months is ideal. A year would work too, but for a reevaluation, because you don't always feel things changing on your own. Sometimes you need a trained pair of eyes to pick up little subtle movement differences. And if we have people come back to physical therapy for a reevaluation, we can address those changes right away before they progress into something bigger. So it's common for people to go from group class to physical therapy and then back to group class. We actually recommend it.
I like one of the things that you guys were actually just talking about, because the way I look at it is there's a time and a place for those assessments or those focused things that you're working out if people have individual issues. And then to me, the things like the classes or a lot of the work that we do here with generalized fitness programs or any type of fitness programming, really, to me, that is, that's the habit, that's the lifestyle. That's what we're trying to get people to understand, that if you want to stay pain-free, if you want to keep that improved balance, if you want to keep, delaying that cognitive decline, you have to set these daily, weekly habits. And this is something that's going to become a part of your lifestyle, essentially for the rest of your life. So, to me, fitness is more of a journey than a destination. And I think once people start to understand that, they can kind of buy into, the regular classes and doing things more in a stepwise, consistent fashion, not just for today or next month, but, ideally for the rest of their lives. And one of the things that's really affected all of us this past year has been this whole pandemic and shutdown and lockdown. Here at the rec center, we weren't actually able to open up our fitness center until late August. And thankfully, we've been able to stay open with, limited capacity. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you, and perhaps Beth can also speak to this, is what types of measures have you taken to kind of mitigate the effects of lockdown and shutdown? How are you still getting your programs out to people?
That is a very good question. And Beth and I have been meeting almost weekly. It feels like changing the program almost weekly, constantly having to shift gears. It has certainly kept us on our toes. And we have noticed a big difference with people not being as active and not attending as regularly. And it's not just our observation. People don't feel good when they're cut off from their regular exercise program. So I'll let Beth explain this in bigger detail, but basically we've transferred everything online. We had to become Zoom technology experts overnight. I don't know if we are actually experts, but we're figuring it out.
Right, I just figured out how to mute everybody at the same time, so I'm feeling really solid. Yeah, so to kind of go off of what Lindsay was just saying, just like she said, we actually got to the point where we have a meeting every week, because if anyone knows Lindsay and I, we do not have a centralized location, especially since the pandemic hit. We are everywhere. You will see our faces everywhere. We are bouncing left and right. So we made sure now we have one time a week where we can meet, because things are changing that quickly that we can't go 2 weeks without talking to each other, because we are constantly shifting our rules and our regulations and what we're doing online. But Lindsay, correct me if I'm wrong, within that same day that we got shut down, we were recording videos. So our videos went from cell phone, really sketchy copies, to now we actually have an online platform of an online subscription plan where people can access these videos anytime they want, 24/7. They're in 15-minute increments. So I have some people that just need that little extra work on balance. So you can do 15 minutes a day, or some people that can't make it into class and they can't make the Zoom times, or they aren't Zoom, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but Zoom sophisticated. So, so they do these online subscription plans. So we can do anywhere from, we have a calendar that sets you up for an hour, 3 or 4 times a week program. And then we can break that up into shorter programs to fit your lifestyle. But all of our diagnosis that we specialize in is in this program. So if you order the online program for Parkinson's, you're getting balance and falls, low back pain, strengthening for bone health. You're getting the joint pain prevention, osteoarthritis program. So you're getting like 6 or 7, and then our mindfulness program that I give that talks about ways to de-stress and talks about gives you meditations you can go on, gives you activities to do. We have Tai Chi and we have yoga. We have, I think it's a pretty awesome format. So that is kind of what we've developed during this Corona time. So now that we're back in, we had to revisit the drawing board. Now we got Lindsay going and doing some live in-person classes where we have to regulate how many members we have and the 6 feet distance and clean everything. And then this for the people that we still aren't feeling great about going out in public, because everyone has their own health and their own opinions, which is wonderful. So you have me in my living room leading the Zoom classes. So besides the interruption from our dog every now and again, it works out really, really well.
Yeah, it is working out really. It's working out so well that it's not going to go anywhere. We plan on keeping the live stream and the online video platform for the long term. We have people that travel to Florida for the winter, and now they can keep going with our classes even when they're not in town.
Yeah, and that wasn't even planned. That was really that was just something that we have someone that moved to Pennsylvania, but yet she still gets to be part of her group because of our Zoom classes. And we love seeing her face because we really become close with our participants, and it's nice to be able to keep face-to-face contact with them.
That's one of the things about technology, I think, that is so awesome. You can have that local reach, but these technology platforms can be reached by really any place in the world. And we've done a lot of the similar things here. We're obviously open and running, doing live in-person classes with all the regulations, mandates, and guidelines, of course, and reduced capacities. But I think it was within a day or two of us going into lockdown that we started with our videos and starting a YouTube channel. Certainly things I never thought I would be doing. But looking back on it, it's certainly added something to what we're doing here, and it's been something we're continuing to add to, and I don't really see it going away anytime soon. And whether it's for people that still aren't comfortable coming back, doing some of our Facebook Live classes or utilizing the content on our YouTube channel, I think this is something that will behoove us to keep long term as well.
It's pushed us all out of our comfort zone and made us learn all these new technologies. So there's brain growth for all of us right there.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right. So sorry, I was reading here. So Lindsay, let's talk a little bit about you personally. Let's talk, and I know how much you love when people get personal with you online. So let's talk a little bit.
This will probably be brief.
Yes, so let's turn the spotlight on to Lindsay for just a second. So in regards to your self-development, Jay and I always have these secret book clubs going on. Everyone that we have on here, we write down all of their books. But who do you follow or read for inspiration?
I am an avid reader, but I don't really have a book following. I get a lot of inspiration from my colleagues. There's a couple of Facebook groups that are all neuro-specific therapists. It's called the NeuroSpark Network, actually. And there are people all around the country doing very similar things as me, specializing in Parkinson's, but also with a heavy influence on wellness into their programs. And I pull influence from them. They'll put little clips of their classes. I get a lot of ideas for what courses I want to take next through this group. There's one colleague in Rochester, and we actually meet every Saturday for a 5-mile run. Sometimes it's a run walk, and then grab a beer afterwards, because why not? And all we do is kind of talk about the issues, what's working, what's not working. And so I guess I get a lot of my inspiration from people like me doing the same type of thing. And I'm glad that there are people out there I can pick their brain and get new ideas and new inspirations from.
And that's kind of what Jay and I are trying to build here through what we're doing with the Talkin Wellness, is just reaching out to local healthcare professionals to see if we can just broaden our network, because all of us have the same goal in mind. All of us want to see people well. We all want to see people, and we're not saying going on fad diets. We're not saying doing these detox cleanses and all this kind of stuff. I mean, if that's for you, great. But what we want to see is we want to see our listeners have a broadened area of people they can learn from, people they can ask questions, people they can inspire. And I know, like Lindsay, I mean, even just getting out and going for that run is huge. Lindsay's invited me once and I've had to decline because I might make it 1 mile, but there's no way. I could do yoga for 5 hours, no problem, but a 5-mile jog, I don't know. And I can do 60 miles on my bike, but I don't think I could do a run for 5. So
definitely power and collaboration. And I think, you know, the more we cooperate with each other as healthcare workers, instead of trying to carve out your niche and not let anybody else in on what you're doing, I think the more we collaborate with each other, there's plenty of people to serve and to have as our clients. So I've always felt that way. I'm a big proponent of collaboration and sharing ideas. I think there's a lot of
marketing and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And the other thing too is, I don't know everything. You know, I'm not an expert in all these, you know, different areas, but getting to know people who are, I feel much more comfortable, you know, whether it's referring out or having someone have a discussion with one of you or anybody else in my professional network. So to me, it's all, you know, the end goal is the same. We all have our areas of expertise and things that we bring to the table. And, you know, really just encouraging people just to have that really well-rounded wellness toolbox with all these different resources, and clearing some of the confusion about a lot of this wellness stuff. There's so many different ways you can go. And there's a lot of information and misinformation out there. So I think, you know, certainly something like this can be very helpful for everybody. And again, that's one of the reasons why we do it, even if it did start as our own personal little book club back in March and April. So kind of continuing with the more personal stuff there, Lindsay, can you tell us 3 fun or interesting facts about yourself?
Sure. I don't know how fun or interesting this is, but I personally love group exercise classes myself. I have had a gym membership to pretty much every gym in the area, but I will not use it unless there's somebody standing in front of me with the workout planned out, telling me what to do for that whole hour. I can write a workout, a really hard, tough workout for a group of 20 people in 10 minutes. I can do it in my sleep, but I cannot do it for myself. So I am a huge proponent of group exercise classes. I love all these little boutique fitness studios that are popping up because they all have a different take on things. The instructors are all different. So that's my fitness plan, glean off of everybody else and what they're doing and bounce around. So I'm really happy that things are starting to open up, even if we have to wear masks and keep our distance. I'm happy to be back at that. One other thing, my family and I try and take one big trip every year. We are avid travelers and we never go back to the same place twice. It's kind of my goal to see as much of the world as I can. Our next trip is going to be Amsterdam and Belgium. We had it all planned out before coronavirus hit. So that one's already planned. And as soon as we can travel again, we're taking off. And my children are 12 years apart. That always gets a chuckle out of some people. I know, I guess it's not that unique. Beth is raising her hands because her children are also 12 years apart.
So I have to say this really funny about Lindsay and I, as different as we are, because our personalities are polar opposites, but we work so well together. but we both have children 12 years apart. We're both 42. We both have had such of the same journey in life. I find it to be so funny because you don't meet too many people that have kids. Well, yours is what, 2?
Yeah, I have a 2-year-old and a almost 14-year-old. So it definitely keeps things interesting. We're at very different phases everywhere, but it works. It actually works great. But some people usually look at me like I'm nuts when I tell them that.
I think it's great. I couldn't imagine of doing it any other way. I do feel guilty that Jackson doesn't have someone else to play with, but we got lots of neighbors close by that makes up for that. So I think it was great too. I don't know that I could have done 2 in diapers. I don't know. Hats off to you women out there that have a bunch of little ones running around at the same time. I needed that space.
Yeah,
I needed the space. Well, Jay, do you have anything to wrap up with? Anything new going on at the Webster Rec?
Well, being the new year, our winter spring programs have started, which will run through the end of May. And hopefully by that point, not only will the weather be good, but we'll be maybe seeing some light at the end of the Corona tunnel. So we have a lot of our fitness classes just started. So, you know, hop online, stop by, come and see us, see what we have to offer. More and more of our senior type programs are starting to come back online. Hopefully at some point we'll be able to offer the senior lunch program. Believe it or not, we've also started to advertise in registration for summer camp. I know it's only January, but it'll be here before you know it. And working on some other little projects and things that will start to roll out as the year progresses.
I'm super excited for the Webster Rec, and only while I'm teaching the class, but the yoga is full. It is maxed out. And the mindfulness now they're going to start to offer for free to our seniors. So that is fantastic. I'm so excited because who does not need some mindfulness and meditation in their life? As far as Lindsay and I mean, we are just working and working until we are fatigued and trying to dodge all of these Corona bullets that keep flying our way, but we are steadfast and we keep moving forward. And Lindsay, it was so awesome. I'm going to let you field this question, but for anyone that doesn't catch it through Lindsay, if you hold tight at the end, all of the places that you can find Lindsay and Jay and myself at Wellness 360 and Webster Rec Center will be listed at the end of this recording. So Lindsay, where can your listeners find you?
They can just reach out to me directly by email, by phone, by text. I am happy to talk to people for as long as they need, answer whatever questions before having people come in the door for an evaluation. So my phone number reaches me directly. So I'm actually pretty easy to track down.
Awesome. So I will post she gave me permission, her personal phone number on the end of this recording. And I will list our YouTube channels and our Facebook pages because I know Jay has been working tirelessly and his whole crew, and we've been working tirelessly to put on all of these videos that you can access at any time. So there is no excuses anymore. If anything, Corona has taken away excuses for health and wellness because it is all at the access of your fingertips. It is free, it is available, and it is in your home. So no excuses, my friends. But thank you, Lindsay, so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you. Jay, it was great to see you, and I look forward to our next Talking Wellness.